Just talk through us about, that moment, that decision to sort of take on the next level of challenge, having accomplished so much already.
First, careers are not linear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can plan careers when we start the journey.
What learning we can take from your experience to make those decisions.
There's a very famous saying by Jeff Bezos. He said there are two types of entrepreneurs: missionaries and mercenaries.
Okay.
Mercenaries work for money. Missionaries work for a purpose.
Did the definition of your success change over that early part before you finally got into your calling, let's call it, let Shoolini be your calling? Was there a change in like what you consider as success?
Absolutely. I remember when I was in school, getting into IIT itself was, a measure for success.
What it took for you to, build it here, and some of those challenges that you went through.
We said we're going to build one of India's leading universities.
You're helping global universities come to India. Can you talk to us about what made you decide to sort of enable that ecosystem?
Purpose, passion to change and have an impact on India. And also the belief that great education changes lives.
What would you want them to walk away with from your message?
Do it for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
This is a unique time in India, in the history of India, where value, economic value and purpose converge.
If you were to say to education leaders that something that they should stop doing immediately, what would that be?
Stop following the status quo. Don't think outside the box. Break the box.
Hi, welcome to Inspired. Most education leaders today are working harder than ever, but many are quietly asking a deeper question. Are we just keeping up, or are we actually building something that lasts? The rules are changing, competition is global, outcomes are under pressure, and yet the real challenge isn't admissions, placements, or rankings. It's the discipline of institution building, the kind that takes patience, conviction, and the courage to make uncomfortable choices. My guest today has chosen that harder path repeatedly. Professor Atul Khosla has worked at the highest levels of global consulting, built businesses from scratch, and then stepped into education, arguably the most complex system to reform. As founder and vice chancellor of Shoolini University, and now as someone shaping how global universities engage with India, Atul sits at a rare intersection between legacy systems and future possibilities. Atul, welcome to Inspired. It's really great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for having our entire team here. What a lovely campus and hospitality. And, I always start all my conversations because one of the things that fascinates me most is just being able to be at an institute at the campus and absorb all the energy and the ecosystem around it. So thank you so much for having us here. And we're really excited to have this conversation today.
Thank you, Ankur. It's an honor, I would say. And what a beautiful day. I think even the sun gods are blessing us.
Yes.
While Chandigarh was nice and foggy,
Yeah.
and it appeared, you've reached Switzerland in Chandigarh. Shoolini is blossoming. It's like spring, the flowers are blossoming, and you bring in the smile. So thank you for being here.
I really appreciate that. It's interesting you say that because my car driver on the way here was saying it's going to be sunny out there, and as soon as I got out of the hotel this morning, and it was like all gloomy and foggy, and I thought going up the hill would be less like even more cold and gloomy, but he said no, you're going to see sun over there. So
Fantastic. We're going to talk about education today.
Yes,
but I think this merits another podcast, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm very excited. I've been wanting to have this conversation for quite some time, and I know that you've got a lot going on. So and we'll get into your journey as we walk in today. But I want to start it from where, like right before education, right? Where you were in your career in terms of working in the ecosystem with top consulting businesses. Many would consider that as a complete career already. And then you sort of switch path to get into education. Just talk through us about, that moment, that decision to sort of take on the next level of challenge, having accomplished so much already?
Wow, that's it's been a long journey, but I think I'll leave three thoughts before I get into my journey. First, careers are not linear. I don't think we can plan careers when we start the journey. I don't think when I was 25 and I'd started with McKinsey, I would have thought that I'll be at Solan speaking to you today, talking about education. I don't think I ever
Yeah.
thought about that. So, number one, careers are disruptive in today's world. I think that's the first lesson I learned very early on in my life. I think the second is, you need to pick up the opportunities that come by, and they don't come twice. So if there's a good opportunity out there, just do it. And I think the third thing I learned was just do stuff that excites you, do it for a purpose, do it from your heart, and you will never be more happy. So that's really, I think, broadly what happened to my career. I graduated from IIT Kanpur. Luckily, I went to Mumbai for my MBA. I studied at JBIMS, which was a game changer for me because I was a bit of a Solan boy. I call Solan Dihat. IIT Kanpur is a bit of a Dihat campus, right?
Yeah.
It's not in the middle of a metropolitan city.
Yeah.
And here I was, rather raw, in Mumbai, and suddenly I blossomed.
Yeah.
And McKinsey happened. The next level of blossoming happened. Ended up working in 35 different cities of the world, 7 different countries,
Amazing, yeah.
across multiple industries. And then O2 happened, which is the bust. If you remember, there was an internet bust that happened.
Yep.
The bubble had burst, and many of us were struggling on what to do next. And that's the time when I switched jobs. I moved into a firm called Watson White, which I was heading in India. And you're 31, and suddenly you end up becoming like a CEO of a small company. Of course, they were still very young in India.
Yeah.
Meant a lot.
Yes.
But I think that was not a great decision for me. McKinsey is a great place. So I think, honestly, I struggled at Watson White. I was not ready. I then moved on to a
Not
firm.
ready with the responsibility
Not
that
ready
came with-
with being an entrepreneur, I would say.
Oh, interesting.
You're starting a business for a large firm in a new geography. You have to think like it's a startup.
Yeah.
So I think that's the big learning I had. But anyway, I survived there for a year and a half. I then switched over to a company called the Everest Group, which is one of the largest outsourcing firms in the world today. And I founded the India and Asia business for Everest. And that was, I think, a game changer for me. It was building a new business, a new industry. Outsourcing was starting to boom in India, and we just did very well. Personal challenges happened at that point of time, and I took a break.
Okay.
And guess what? 2005-06, I decided to move to Switzerland.
Oh, wow.
And this was destiny because Nils Hagander, who was the founder of a company called A-Connect,
Okay.
and an ex-partner at McKinsey, Switzerland, he and I bumped into each other. We got drunk over wine. We spoke about flying planes, and he said, "Let's start a business. Why don't you come over to Zurich?"
Okay.
And here I was, already had a very plum job
Yeah.
to be the CEO of a very large American company in India. And Nils said, "I don't have money. I'll probably pay you half of what you're getting."
Yeah.
And I took the plunge.
Wow.
Ankur, I remember going to my brother and I said, "What should I do?" I really wanted to go to the mountains. I grew up in Himachal,
Yeah,
right? So I'm a Himachal boy. So going to the mountains was very obvious.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be in Switzerland. Remember the Yash Chopra movies and the meadows that we had seen.
Yeah.
And you've got, if you remember, Chandni
The
with
movies, yeah.
Sridevi out there. So I just thought, I'm going to have a blast. So I sacrificed a big paycheck, ended up in Zurich, became a partner with A-Connect.
Okay.
And I think that changed my life because I suddenly was building a business very successfully. We went through a liquidity even there. And again, luck struck. That's the time when we were starting to think about Shoolini.
Okay.
My father had retired as the vice chancellor of public university in Himachal, and he
Okay.
wanted to build a great university. So naturally, I was one of his thought partners, and we would talk hours and hours and hours about what a great university does. And 2008, again, there was a bust, if you remember.
Yes.
The financial crisis hit
I
the
was in the
world.
middle of that. I was
So
in New York at the
Credit
time.
Suisse was my big client. I would serve financial services clients, Ankur. And suddenly coming back to India made so much sense. So I switched roles. I joined a firm called Oliver Wyman to build their businesses in India and parts of Asia. And I was part of the global senior management team, came to India, built Oliver Wyman.
Wow.
And something very interesting happened in 2011. I was sitting in Paris and having and sipping coffee, and it just struck me. It was like from the blue.
Uh-huh.
And I said, I cannot make rich people richer anymore. So I just packed my bags and left my job, and I came to Shoolini.
Oh, wow.
Never looked back, never been happier. We've done amazing things at Shoolini, and I'll speak about it.
Yes.
But I'm so glad I could make that call. Many of my friends, I think, envy me for not being at Shoolini, but having that ability to take that decision. And I think
Absolutely.
you also did something very similar coming back to India.
Absolutely. And, I want to just dig deeper into these decisions at different points. In hindsight, it's easy to say that, oh, luck struck, and, you being humble when you say that. But a lot of us listeners may be in those timeline of their lives where they're trying to figure out what's next, right? I think it's easier to build or talk through about in hindsight timeline, but when you're going through that journey, and when you were going through that journey, I'm sure there were so many doubts, self-doubts, or so many challenges that come along the way. And what does one do? What learning we can take from your experience to make those decisions, which some people say that there's no right or wrong decision. Important thing is take a decision, and then the rest will sort of take its course.
So I'm going to throw some stories behind my
Yes.
journey, Ankur.
Yeah.
So, and this is very interesting. This is for if there are some people in the audience from an IIT or students. Many of you are thinking about starting a business, becoming an entrepreneur, doing a startup. But when I graduated, starting anything of your own was not even in the decision set.
Okay.
So it was not even discussed. So what did we
It
discuss?
was not even in the spectrum.
It was not even in the spectrum. So we would say either go to the US for an MS. Some more ambitious guys said we'll go to the US and then we'll do an MBA. Some started a job in India, and some prepared for the civil services. So these really were the four, I would say, type of jobs that everyone looked at. I decided to do an MBA. I went to JBIMS, like I just mentioned to you. So the question is, are you ready for what you want to do?
Yeah.
So I spoke about joining Everest, a young company, a startup, and I was fairly successful. And I was flying to Dallas, I still remember. And I was flying Swiss Air from Delhi to Zurich.
Okay.
And then I had to change planes from Zurich to Dallas. And at the Zurich airport, I bumped into a very dear friend, Sunish Sharma.
Okay.
Sunish was with a PE firm, GA Partners. Sunish, if you hear me, hi. You may not remember this, but Sunish was a couple of years behind me at McKinsey. So I asked, and I bumped into him at the Zurich airport, and I asked him, Sunish, wow, what a surprise. How come you're here? He said, I'm flying to New York, and I was in this particular flight. I said, I was in the flight too, but we never saw each other. He blushed and said, I was in first class, and I was traveling economy, and I felt like shit. The point I wanted to make is that I was not ready to be an entrepreneur at that point of time. I really missed McKinsey. I missed the glamour of walking into, let's say, a social function
Yeah.
and people asking me, Beta, what do you do? And I would so proudly say, I work at McKinsey. And you know how it was. It was a big deal.
Yes.
And here you are. Now you're doing something different. You're doing a startup. And well, the nice ones would say, okay, well done, good luck. And the not so guys one would say, why did you ever leave
What were
McKinsey?
you
You must have
thinking?
been fired, right? So I think the first thought I leave for everyone is you need to be ready. Today, I love it. I travel economy in the last 2 years, and I'll speak about the last 2 years in a while. I've made more than 80 trips to different parts of the world. And I fly economy. And I feel very happy flying economy because I think I can save some money and give back to the lesser privileged. I can give scholarships to students from the money that I save by not flying business. And that's the change in mindset that needs to happen. I think that's the first important thing I would say. If you want to be an entrepreneur, then corner rooms, the car you drive, the class you fly should not matter, because the purpose becomes way bigger. I think the second thing is there needs to be a purpose, and money cannot be the purpose.
Yes.
There's a very famous saying by Jeff Bezos. He said there are two types of entrepreneurs: missionaries and mercenaries.
Okay.
Mercenaries work for money. Missionaries work for a purpose. But the irony is the missionaries who make the money. So if you don't have a purpose, then definitely don't switch, and it'll come from your heart.
Absolutely.
It's not something that you'll
Forced
plan or force exactly. So that purpose becomes very, very critical. And the last thing is just listen to your heart. Don't listen to your mind. Jump into something. The number of opportunities in India are humongous. Anything that you touch will turn gold. But some people will hit gold very early.
Yes.
Some people will take time. So you need to have the patience, the tenacity, and that's the word I would like to leave the audience with. Have to give it 5 years of your life. And there cannot be an exit strategy. You have to say, that's going to be my life for a very long time because I believe in it. And I think if you can merge these thoughts together, you're ready to go out and conquer the world in whichever area and whichever discipline you want to build an enterprise.
That's very powerful. And what they say is that the cost of regret is much higher than the cost of trying and failing. So I
think the last thing is about just doing it. Because a lot of people keep on talking about ideas. There's never going to be a perfect idea.
Yes.
You know it.
Yes, absolutely.
There's always going to be an 80-20. So just do it.
Yeah.
Because we don't know when we're starting a new idea how it's going to change.
Starting is the major win, and then you keep optimizing and improving
or
1%.
Sometimes changing it completely. So not being so much in love with your idea that you're not ready to change also is very, very important.
Did the definition of your success change over that early part before you finally got into your calling, let's call it, let Shoolini be your calling? Was there a change in what you consider as success?
Absolutely. I remember when I was in school, getting into IIT itself was, a measure for success. And honestly, and this is for my cousin Ajay, who was my role model, who went to IIT Delhi and then he went and did his MBA, became a banker with Bankcam. So my role model was Ajay. He would drive, in those days, Maruti Deluxe air-conditioned car.
Yeah.
My bhabhi Anji was a beautiful, lovely lady, again working in a bank, had a beautiful family, lived in DEF calls. That was my role model at that point of time, saying at IIT, I want to be like Ajay. I want to have a car.
Yeah.
I want to have a quality family. I want to, live in a quality place like DEF call. And I come from a very middle class family, right, Ankur? After that, I really wanted to get into banking. Citibank was my dream job.
Yeah.
I did my summers with Citi. My elder brother was with Citi at that point of time. Ashu was there. So getting into Citi was the dream job. Many of us aspired at that point of time. I'm talking about 94, 95. Okay. And then McKinsey happened. I didn't even know what McKinsey was, honestly, when I started interviewing with them. And the joke in my family is so interestingly, I've never been a topper, right? I was 6.8 CGPA from IIT Kanpur. I'm a true 5-point someone. If you read Chetan Bhagat's book, I almost jumped from the rooftop also.
Oh God.
Jokes apart. So no one gave me a chance. If you think about it, I called up Ashish, my elder brother, and he went to IIM Calcutta, and I asked him, how do I prepare for McKinsey? And he said, Atul, रहने दे, तेरा profile नहीं है, right? But I did something very interesting. I was building my spike, I would say, if that's the right word. I published a couple of research papers. I was a serious runner in those days.
Oh, wow.
I had done a bit of flying. And those are things that quality enterprises, companies look at. So those things matter to McKinsey, not my grades.
Yeah.
So anyway, McKinsey happened. At that point of time, surviving in McKinsey, the first 3-4 years,
That was
McKinsey
success.
that was success, right? I mean, McKinsey is up and out. And many of us were always on the window of exit.
Yeah.
So surviving at McKinsey was a challenge, and then becoming a partner probably was an aspiration. Then probably for a few years, honestly, I floundered.
Yeah.
I did well. Financially, I did well, but I honestly floundered. I didn't know what I was doing from a long-term vision perspective.
Got it.
And I think going to Switzerland got me back. I truly enjoyed.
Something struck while you were there.
Well, I loved hand-holding my clients to come up with new ideas and implementing the change. I was still in consulting. Then building Oliver Wyman in India was great. But that around 2007, when I was in Switzerland, Shoolini seeds had already been sold.
Interesting.
So I was very
What do you
clear
mean
that
by
I'm going to
that?
come back. My dad had already started the enterprise.
Oh,
The
okay.
university, we had a small college
Okay.
in Solan, which he had started. And I think I was absolutely clear I want to come back. In fact, my parents would tell me, no, the time is not right. How can you
Oh,
leave your
really?
job and how can you come? I think my salary was higher than the total revenue of the college at that point of time.
Parents don't want to shake your
Of
stability at the
course,
time. Yeah,
of course. Parents being parents,
Of
and
course.
for them,
They wanna worry for
startups-
you, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, startups were not in vogue at that point of time.
And they're
at all.
probably at an age where they didn't want to take risk for you or see you taking risk at that
Well,
time.
they want you happy, and
Yes.
they always want to care for you. So I was very clear. Listen, I grew up in a family of academics, of teachers.
Yeah.
I remember at McKinsey, I was asked in the interview when I was being hired, what do you want to do in life? And I'm going to joke a bit. I always, so I grew up with my dad making me believe that I'll win the Nobel Prize.
Oh, wow.
So when I went to IIT, I thought I'll do something in science and STEM. Within 6 months, you figured out that ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
You just don't have the smarts for that. I told you my CGPA,
Yeah.
right? And then I thought, okay, I don't think I can do it in physics or chemistry, but economics, possibly.
Possibly.
So I had a dream to go to U Chicago, do my MBA
Yeah.
there, do a PhD in economics there.
Nice.
And possibly try for a Nobel in
economics.
economics. And today I joke, I said, economics is not happening. Possibly I still have a chance in peace, right?
There you go.
So the vision is still there.
I saw your building is named after Dr. C.V. Raman.
Yes,
he
so
was
you'll see a lot of Nobel Prize
Yeah.
winner galleries here.
Absolutely.
So one of our dreams at Shoolini is that someday someone from Shoolini will win the Nobel Prize.
You're the second person now who recently has spoken about the importance of, or that as an aspiration. Because I actually didn't know, C.V. Raman ji was the last science Nobel laureate from India, and that was 90 years ago.
Who worked out of India.
Who worked? Yeah,
There are
exactly.
many Indians like
Indian
Chandrasekhar's
origin, yeah,
got
they're
it.
there, but
That's right.
being from India.
Yes,
So
yes.
I think, and it's high time we have the mind and now the
I think we need to have the
mindset also.
belief, Ankur.
Yes.
So we genuinely believe that if India has to win a Nobel in science, it's unlikely it's going to come in physics and chemistry and traditional sciences. It's going to come in a confluence of something that we are very strong at, which could be a confluence of science and spirituality.
Wow, that's very
And I
interesting.
think, and we do a lot of work on that, by the way, at Shoolini. We have a full school of happiness and spirituality and yoga,
Nice.
and we think that's the future for the world.
And that's truly playing to the strength of our country and our sort of historic.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a belief. There is no reason why a country of so many people cannot aspire to win the Nobel.
So let's switch gears. Let's talk about the mission that you're building here. It's very interesting. A lot of leaders may feel that to build something, full of excellence requires maybe a ecosystem in a metro city with all the resources, access to faculty, access to resources. And here we are at Shoolini. We build a world-class university in a ecosystem. In a place like Solan, a smaller town, where resources, getting resources is probably harder at the onset of this journey. So tell us about that, what it took for you to, build it here, and some of those challenges that you went through.
I'm going to tell another story. I
Yeah.
used to serve a company called MBNA, which was a very large credit card company in the
Okay.
US, out of Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah.
And I once flew with the CEO from Wilmington to the West Coast.
Okay.
And during those 5 hours in the plane, and it was a private plane, of course, he told me, he said, Atul, there are two types of entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs. One who are super smart. And he said, Steve Jobs is super smart. And another set who just don't know what's happening. They just do it. I think we'll be on the second part of the spectrum. We just believed you're going to build something great.
Yeah.
We had no idea, no clue. The purpose was so much bigger than the process.
Okay.
We never believed that we will not do anything spectacular. The day one when we said we're going to build Shoolini, we said we're going to build one of India's leading universities in biotech. It was a day one mission.
Wow.
And who were we? We had a small dilapidated building, 40,000 square feet in Solan. Half the world hasn't heard or seen Solan.
Yeah.
And hey, we were dreaming.
Yeah.
But we were mad, Ankur.
Yeah.
And I think you need to be mad to do something exceptional.
Absolutely.
It did not strike us that we had challenges. I mean, you've come here. We are a rural university.
Yeah.
We are, 2 hours away from Chandigarh.
Yeah.
We are in the mountains.
Yep.
We produce our own electricity, water. Even the road is not. You still have a pakka road now, but
Yeah.
when we started, the road was not pakka.
Yeah.
So I think it's the belief and that madness which is so critical. And I'm going to recite a dialogue I love, which is Shah Rukh Khan's dialogue from Om Shanti Om. इतनी शिद्दत से तुम्हें पाने की कोशिश की है, हज़र्रे ने हमें मिलाने की साजिश की है. किसी भी चीज़ को दिल जान से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात उसको आपसे मिलाने में लग जाती है. और वो सच है.
Yes.
तो वो शिद्दत जो लाएगा,
Yeah.
वो उसको सक्सेस से कोई रोक नहीं सकता.
And it's quite visible here as I walk around today on this campus, and I hear about the work that you're doing, and we'll delve deeper into that.
So one is the belief.
Yes.
Then second is the purpose. You have to be clear, and it'll come from the heart, like I said. So what was our purpose? So we took three big stances, which seem very obvious today. But if you go back to 2004-05, when we were building our institute in Solan, they were completely counterintuitive. So what were the three? Let me say. First, we said, we will build a research-intensive university.
Okay.
Even the IITs in those days were not
focused on
were
that,
not
yeah.
focused on research. And hey, we were saying, we'll do research. Everyone told us, you guys are mad and stupid. Our secretary, education, I remember, who happened to be from IIT Kanpur, took my report and threw it in the dustbin and said, Atul, do your MNC job, time waste mat karo. A very dear friend of mine, who's one of India's leading educationists, told me, Atul, कुछ भी कर सकते हो प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटी में रिसर्च नहीं कर सकते. बट कुछ पागलपन था. हमने बोला करेंगे. Second, we said, we are going to be squeaky clean. We will be independent, which means we will not take money from anyone.
Wow.
Right? So who owned universities and colleges way back in 95, 96 to from there till 2005? Politicians, real estate barons, businessmen. And here we were, a bunch of academicians with very shallow pockets, dreaming to build a great university
Wow.
and saying we'll be squeaky clean.
Yeah.
We know there's a lot of left pocket, right pocket. That was happening at that point of time.
Yeah.
And the third stance we said was, we will work with the lesser privileged. We will do and build Shoolini, which is truly not for profit. A lot of people may still not believe us when we say that we don't do it for any personal gain. But that's true, and that was the stance. We did it in 2005. My dad was a very successful educationist. He's an Oxford alum. He'd been a vice chancellor. He didn't need money. I mean, he's as much a role model as anyone else that you and I would have.
Yeah.
Both me and my elder brother were doing very well. We didn't need money to come to Shoolini and sort of start a new enterprise in education. Our fellow partners, there's another family involved at Shoolini, Vishal Anand and his family. They are very successful businessmen. So I think getting the right people together is also very important, who had the shared values. So we took those three stances, and every day I live with them.
Complex thing to do sometimes. You see a lot of startup stories where, after little success or hard times, those partnerships also fall apart. And
you'll be surprised, we have no written contract.
Wow.
So sometimes
It's
I think
very
it's the
centered in
intent.
core values then.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the point I was coming to, Ankur, is it's not as if we were saying we'll do something opposite that others are doing. It just happened because we believed in it. So every time I sit in with my board, and we have a board meeting tomorrow, the question we ask is, in Hindi, you'll say, "Kya dent kiya India? What have you really achieved?" And I know I'm going to be very immodest when I say this, but with a lot of humility, I would add that we brought research into the spectrum of private universities, period.
You brought in mainstream.
Absolutely. I mean, no one thought about research, and here we were, and proved that research can be done.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have big pockets, and I'll come to that in a second. So as we speak, and when you do research and you write publications, academicians do that. There's something called citations.
Yes.
So you may not know, but we have the highest citations per publication in the country and in Asia.
Wow.
And we are a small dot located in the Himalayas, in a rural environment. We don't have Harvard and Yale and Stanford faculty.
Yeah.
We work with
That region probably
local
leads
talent.
the world, right, in that space. But in this part of the world,
I'm talking
it was
about
unheard
Asia.
of.
So trusting the community, trusting your talent, I think is so critical.
What made you take that journey of what brought the focus on research? Like, why research?
So first of all, our founder, Dr. Khosla, my father, he's a researcher, so we knew it. But most importantly, I think the journey started in 2001, 2002. I was very lucky to work with the Prime Minister at that point of time, Prime Minister Vajpayee and his team. So McKinsey was doing a big piece of work for transforming technology education in the country.
Oh, interesting.
And I was driving that project along with a very dear friend of mine, Vipul Tuli. And the conclusion, or if there was one thing we told the government, it was that you cannot build great institutions without research. And they need to be multidisciplinary. So where did I get that insight? Of course, there was a lot of data and a lot of McKinsey analysis, but my dad was my think tank. He was my thought partner. So
primary research
research. So we agreed that you cannot build a great IIT without great research. And that's what we told the government. And we said, you need to scale up the IIT. So all that happened in 2014 onwards was partly McKinsey's work, where we recommended the government to scale up the IITs and build large IITs.
Wow.
Which is now happening. You'll see
new campuses coming up around the
becoming
country.
multidisciplinary. So I don't know whether you know IIT Kanpur is setting up a medical school. So is I think IIT Bombay, if I'm not wrong.
And then IITs are also opening management programs.
I mean that happened, of course.
Yeah.
So there's a synergy.
Yes.
But here we are. I mean, imagine 20 years back someone saying IITs will have a medical school.
Now, there's a flip side to this, right? They say that, we'll build it and they will come. Was there any doubt that, okay, we're going to build a research-based university, but will the students find interest in it, or will they come, or what type of students will we be bringing in?
So that's the difference between professionals and entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs do not think this way. There is no if.
Yeah.
We never thought about an if.
Yeah.
We were convinced it's going to happen, and it happened. So I mean, right from the start, with the conviction that we had, it just started happening. Like I said, we're also very lucky. So Shoolini is the goddess of Solan town.
Okay.
And I genuinely believe we are blessed by the goddess.
The spirits are with you guys. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I told you that our Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda, the library we are sitting in today,
Yeah.
is named after him.
Okay.
We are believers that our Guruji is blessing us. So, what has happened in hindsight today honestly looks impossible.
Yeah.
Ankur, a lot of people ask us, what was your plan? Honestly, there was no plan.
Yeah.
And you've seen the campus, you've seen the environment. There was no master plan.
Yeah.
I don't think we had an economic plan. We had a sketch, of course. But divine forces were with us.
Yeah.
And I think the right intent was with us.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is that, I mean, obviously, the purpose alignment part really helps you drive it. It helps you navigate those doubtful moments also. And that sort of becomes your North Star to help you get to where
And
you
there'll
are.
be lots of ups and downs. I mean,
Yeah.
today everything looks hunky-dory.
Of course.
But, I mean, we've been through very severe downs.
Yeah. Now, when in certain situations, there is going to be people out there thinking about making these radical choices. I'm using the word radical because at the time it was probably radical, as you were advised by your friends and family, or friends mostly, that don't do a research based university. If someone's going through that dilemma, and I see a lot of especially second generation education entrepreneurs where everything is going well, that you're being handed off a nice education institute, just run it the way it should, and if they feel like they've got the world exposure, they've gone overseas, done programs, and seen how overseas schools or universities are working, and they want to bring back some of those ideas and implement into their ecosystem, what should be their mindset in helping navigate those implementations? Something from your journey that they can learn to help navigate in their own ecosystem.
So I think somewhere the elder generation needs to support the idea. So convincing your board is very important.
That's the challenging part.
Right,
also.
that's the challenging part. I think it all comes back to the belief.
Yeah.
And you could also start small. So one very interesting example, and I just love Pratham Mittal. Pratham has done such an amazing job with Masters Union, right?
And Teta.
Yeah, I mean, he would have been at LPU. He didn't have to go out and build Teta and Masters Union.
Yeah.
So you could be aspiring big, but start small. Prove to the world that it's something to be done, but also pick up something that's a new idea. And some will succeed, some may not. So don't take undue risk, I would say. Don't take risk that's going to leave a huge hole in the P&L or the balance sheet.
Yeah.
I think, again, I come back to purpose. See, education, Ankur, is path-breaking. It can change lives. So what excites me is that, like I give this example, I grew up in Solan in Himachal. I was very lucky to get to IIT Kanpur.
Yeah.
It changed my life.
Yes.
So great institutions can change lives. Education can change economies.
Yep.
India needs thousands of new schools, thousands of universities, thousands of academies. You'll touch any piece of furniture, it's got dust. It's just like that.
Yeah.
There'll be dust. You can do anything you want and be successful, but do it with the right intent. Do it with the purpose of giving back to the country. There is growth everywhere. I'll just leave some statistics over here for you. Just in higher education, we today have 45 million learners.
Okay.
Right. In the next 10 years, by 2035, we expect that to increase to 70 million learners, 70. That's the population of the UK,
Yeah.
right? And that's the opportunity in India. We are going to add 1.5 times the population of Australia just in higher ed.
Oh, God.
Right? Australia has, for example, 40 top universities.
Yeah.
So every large metropolitan city of India can possibly have, 20, 25 world-class universities.
Yeah.
Every district should have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So you need to figure out what you want to do. do it world class. Don't compromise on your values. Don't compromise on quality.
And that also says that, if you've got a long term vision to achieve anything, there are going to be tough days. There are going to be lots of no's you might have to say as well. Sometimes no to short term revenue to basically have alignment. How does one navigate those tough choices, especially in early days when you start out a program?
So, like I said, if the question is, you are the son, daughter of an established enterprise,
Yeah.
then make sure you're not your plan doesn't
Yeah.
leave a hole in the balance sheet, so it's manageable. I'm sure your family will support it. So that's the first advice I
Yes.
would say. Do something path breaking, but don't do it that big
Yeah.
that is going to move the P&L for the mothership. If you're starting new, you have nothing to lose. Just jump in, do it, give 10 years of your life.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I think it's easier if you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, it's almost sounding like that. Where you feel like all your chips are on the table. Then
I don't think I can take the type of risks I would have taken 15 years ago today.
Yeah. Well, Atulji, I want to switch gears a little bit. We've built a world-class university in Solan, and now it seems like another sort of gear switch is happening where you're helping global universities come to India. Can you talk to us about what made you decide to sort of enable that ecosystem?
So again, we spoke about the purpose.
Uh-huh.
We spoke about the passion to change and have an impact on India, and also the belief that great education changes lives. So if you look at the spectrum of higher ed in India today, one is we spoke about numbers. We need universities to serve 70 million Indians, but forget the numbers for a second.
Yeah.
There are 1,200 universities in India.
Okay.
And we keep hearing about all the great names. We keep hearing about the IITs. And if you look into the private sector, we've got Ashoka, Plaksha, Shoolini, and a few. But there is a huge tail of very average institutions. Not because they want to be average, but because probably they never had the competition or the incentive to upgrade themselves. So my belief is, number one, as global universities come to India, there'll be a new opportunity for Indians to get great education.
Okay.
Number two, hopefully this should also influence the broader ecosystem. Can these universities handhold not so good universities to become world class? And by the way, this happened, if you remember, in the mid-80s.
Okay.
If you remember, there used to be two automotive companies, the Fiat and the Ambassador.
And then Maruti
And
showed
then
up.
Maruti came. And two things happened. The ones that didn't change, they
Perished.
became dinosaurs. They're not there anymore. Or the ones that took up the challenge are world leaders today. Mahindra, Tata, they're doing some phenomenal stuff. So I see this as India's Maruti Suzuki event for higher ed.
Interesting.
India can be the springboard for global education to the global south. And I think it's a phenomenal opportunity. But from pure economics, there are 1 million plus Indian students studying in different parts of the world. They spend more than $25 billion
Wow.
in foreign exchange every year. This is larger than, I'm told, India's higher education budget.
Wow.
So now imagine.
So you're helping the deficit?
Well, one is that, but it's also about brain drain.
Yeah.
There are very few people like you who come back.
Yes.
So there's a very interesting statistics that 80% of students work within 200 miles away they studied.
Very true.
So if students are now studying in India, they have that opportunity. A, they can get that cheaper. A, we can give access to great education to many, many more deserving Indians who desire great education but otherwise can't make it. And I'll come back to an analogy in a second. Then we've suddenly laid the foundation of a great India. So now let me ask you a question.
Sure.
If you were 90% marks, which is bloody good,
Yeah.
and you were the son and daughter of an honest government officer in Delhi, you're doomed. Why?
Why?
You will not get at Delhi University. You probably may not get an IIT or an NIT. the Ashokas are too expensive for you.
Yeah.
So you end up going to tier 2 institutions. So your starting point itself is a question mark. And that has to change if India has to change. We need to move the belly of India. There are enough top universities out there. I mean, there are enough IITs. There are enough in that, top 10 universities, there's no issue.
Yeah.
But
It's
how
the
do we
middle
move
one.
the belly of India
Yeah.
to get great education? How do we give great education to this 90%er who's actually very good but loses an opportunity? Either doesn't learn well or becomes cynical along the journey.
Do you think these international universities with physical campuses in India is the answer to that segment of people you're talking about? Would they be able to afford it?
It's one of the answers. I think they will be able to afford. First of all, financing is available. When we look at the economic curve or the salary curves of people, so it's not just half the academic fees. Studying in India in a global university with the same degree, with the same quality, probably better, is 25% of the cost of going to the UK. Remember, living cost overseas is way, way, way higher. It
Yeah.
may cost 30 lakhs per year in London compared to 3 to 4 lakhs of living cost in Delhi or Bombay.
So is the problem that you're trying to solve is stir up the system so it becomes competitive for everyone.
Absolutely.
B, better access and relatively lower cost than going overseas.
Significantly lower cost.
Lower cost than going overseas. Then third, what I'm hearing
Retaining
is
talent in India.
retaining talent. So, but what about
And they will have, they also have a purpose of giving great education to, for example, first time learners or the lesser privileged. All these universities are universities for public good. So
Okay.
they will also have lots of scholarships built in.
So do you think access to an average Indian would be possible through these international
Oh,
universities in the UK?
we have done our market research. I'm not saying the poor can go to them,
Yeah.
but definitely the middle class can.
Or at least someone who's at least get access to financing, so to speak,
Absolutely.
should be able to benefit from that. That makes me also wonder whether, when one of the experiences that anyone who goes to an overseas university is the ecosystem. It's not just the university, it's everything around them. The lifestyle, the exposure you get, the civic sense, which sometimes is a challenge, we see across India in different cities, right? So all that exposure sort of obviously enlightens anyone who visits abroad. You said that, when you went overseas and you got that exposure, something inside you changed. Do you think that was going to be a restriction for people going to those
That's going to be
universities?
core part of the value proposition. So imagine, actually, it's going to be superior.
Okay.
Just imagine spending 1 year in India, then going to the foreign campus, spending 6 months there,
So
coming
exchange,
back,
yeah.
and then possibly going for the final year. So there's going to be a seamless mobility between the Indian campuses and the global campuses. That's one.
Yeah.
Then most of these global universities will have partnerships. For example, let's take the example of University of York. University of York is one of the leading universities in the UK, part of the Russell Group setting up in Mumbai.
Okay.
They have partnerships across the world with top American universities. That's student exchange. So those opportunities will be available. Bringing diversity into the classroom. So we are conceptualizing projects where students in the UK and students in India will be working together.
Okay.
Then faculty will be flowing in and out.
So there's a
Both
lot of
from India to
exchanges,
there.
cross-campus exchange.
And finally, we've decided that most of these campuses, we want to be in urban centers.
Interesting.
So I'll give you an example, and I told you about my story. I moved from IIT Kanpur, 1,000-acre campus, to JBIMS, 1-acre
Urban
campus in the
campus.
middle of Mumbai.
Church.
I think I learned way more being in Mumbai than I learned at IIT. Well, I learned a lot of technical stuff at IIT.
I'm going to sort of play devil's advocate for a second, right? We're sitting at this beautiful place, Shoolini, which is, changing the lives of thousands of students as we see today. You've proved that a focused, research-based, world-class university can be part of a smaller town. why can't a global university be also in a smaller town?
They will.
Okay.
It's not as if they won't, but the starting point is going to be where the barriers of entry are lower
Okay.
and where the impact is higher. So if you think about the phasing, I think it's going to be starting in Mumbai, being integrated in an urban center, integrated with industry, which is so critical for education. Tier two or phase two is going to be, let's say, coming to Solan or Shoolini type of a campus.
Okay.
Or within Mumbai, there's an EduCity coming up over
Yeah.
there, setting up a campus in there. So it's going to be a combination of different models. So one size wouldn't fit all. As an example, business studies will be more urban centric.
Okay.
STEM studies would be more, large campus centric, or we call flat campus centric.
Okay.
But now think about the power. If a student could study at Shoolini, but also have the opportunity of spending a good 6 to 9 months of his or her life in Mumbai, imagine the power of that education.
That goes back to your experience that you grew up here
Absolutely.
and you had to wait much longer later in life to get that exposure and sort of blossom in that way.
I can tell you, if I hadn't
Yeah.
gone to Mumbai for my MBA, I wouldn't
Yeah.
have got into McKinsey.
Wow.
Because there's certain skills that you get just
The
from the
exposure.
ecosystem,
Yeah.
and the exposure, as you call it, right?
Yeah.
And Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi are cutting edge cities today.
Yeah.
One more thing, Ankur, over here as we speak. I wish that universities, private universities in India, public universities in India, can also follow the same route. I'll be excited to set up a campus or a vertical campus or an urban campus of Shoolini if the regulation so allows. And hopefully the
In an
regulator
urban
will
center, you
do
mean?
that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I would love to have a campus in London. Why not?
So the other way around. Well, some like
not?
IITs have opened.
Yeah, but
campus in
IITs
Dubai.
would have regulatory arbitrage,
Yeah.
being premier institutions of
Yeah.
the government of India.
Yeah.
Of course, they can do way more than what we can do as part of our regulation. And I think as these models succeed, I think the government will allow liberalization of the sector.
Okay.
I hope they do.
Break that down for me. What do you mean by that?
We live in a highly regulated industry, and we also know that regulated industries are adopt disruption. They're the last to adopt disruption, whether it's financial services, if you look at it, or it's education. Hopefully, we can prove that Indian institutions that are in the private sector have and can take the responsibility to build mature institutions
Yeah.
and can be global leaders in their own right. And I think as that starts happening, the regulators will also give us more freedom.
It's a very interesting point you bring about regulations. And, I'm thinking there are a lot of private universities who've gone through, and I'm sure including Shoolini in their journey, have gone through that, spent years navigating regulations, fee caps, seat limits, and a lot of uncertainty because regulations can change, right?
So
and
it's starting, I'm interrupting over here,
Yeah.
sorry, because I know we're heading towards.
Yeah.
I think it's already starting to happen.
Yeah.
So around 5 years ago, there was a concept of an Institute of Eminence,
Yes.
which came about. So O.P. Jindal got an Institute
Yes.
of Eminence as an example. Bits Pilani got
Bits Pilani got it, yeah,
I think
yeah,
a bunch
yeah.
of others. I think Simbi got
Yeah.
VIT, if I'm not wrong. Then there are Category 1 universities. So we are a Category 1 university. We have certain freedom of regulation. So increasingly, I think as we mature, as we give more comfort to the regulators, naturally they'll hopefully open up the strings. And I think with global universities coming to India, the maturity of the education system will get accelerated.
Yeah, I certainly get the point about that. Hey, competition is good and it's going to raise everyone else's standard. So in some ways, the learning here is that let's embrace it. Let's work on improving ourselves. And as a country, the country wins in that environment.
So some of my fellow vice chancellors would say, "Oh, but how do you serve Indians who can't afford 2 meals?" And my answer is, We need to leave some good stuff for the state.
Yeah.
The state has to cater to that.
Yeah.
And there'll be different propositions. I mean, there is a Mercedes to be bought, and then there is a Maruti
Yeah.
Alto to be bought, and then there is an attempt to make a Nano to be done. So there'll be spectrum of players across different price points.
So you're really saying is that not everyone's sort of market is getting affected. You know, the perception seems more dangerous than
I
it
spoke
actually
about
is.
70 million learners. Well,
There's enough for everyone.
there's
is
a
it?
caveat.
Yeah.
If you're the ambassador car and you're not cutting edge, you will die.
Yeah.
So I predict three things, and I wrote about it the other day.
Yeah.
Number one, if there are 1,200 universities in India, I see 300 to 500 of them going through major trouble.
Oh wow. What time horizon?
Next
5
5 years. Two things happening. Many of them have been set up by a patriarch. So the younger children may not be interested to drive it. They're very family centric. They're not able to professionalize. That's one reason. Another reason is they're just not good enough. They haven't changed
Yeah.
for the type of education that's needed. And education is disrupting very quick. AI is really changing and challenging us,
Yeah.
right? So that's one prediction. I think the second prediction is we need to bring in great talent into academics. We always talk about teachers not being paid well.
I know there's always I've not walked into a campus of any, whether it is K-12 or higher ed, where recruiting, retaining, and training teachers or faculty is not a challenge.
So now think about with these global universities coming to India, a 1 crore salary will not be a one-off salary anymore if you're a good academic. So suddenly you'll have the Ankurs and the Atuls wanting to become teachers. What
So
a phenomenal
it's not like
change in society.
the supply is going to be the same and people are just going to be fighting for the same number of teachers. What you're envisioning is that because it's going to become so attractive that more people would want to get into teaching.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
And it's just like the tech industry. I mean, when we started, we were poaching from each other.
Yeah.
But today it's such a large industry, right?
Yeah.
That the talent pool gets created. And people are intelligent, they're not stupid. If the opportunities are there, then they will train themselves to be part of that industry. So I anticipate that academics will become a genuine option for career of super smart people, just like the US.
Yes.
So research will happen. We'll be able to give back to the community with products, and of course, we'll give back great education to the students.
And while there might be a slight transitionary challenge, like you said, those 300-400 universities may find
But they deserve to close down, right?
Yeah.
If they're not good enough, why should we give bad education to our students? And
Makes sense.
there are bad sheep out there. We know that there are rotten eggs out there. So we need to solve for those.
But does this also beg to wonder whether the pioneers who entered it early sort of get penalized in a way, or they don't?
I think it's an opportunity to grow. The markets expand. I don't know why anyone would say they are being penalized. Okay, let's assume these campuses are super successful. They just are unthinkably successful. Each university will be, let's say, 8,000, 10,000 max,
Yeah.
nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Let's assume that India can attract lots of these universities. How many? 50? So can you do the maths? 50 into 10,000?
500,000.
500,000 out of the 70 million students who are studying in the system. So it's a
Still a
very
dot in
thing.
the ocean, yeah,
So
in some ways.
see them as the engines of change. Don't see them as providing education to the masses.
Now, from the global universities perspective, what do they look for when they're choosing a market like India? What makes them intrigued about India?
It varies from university to university, but my pitch to our partners has been, and we are now working with 8 different global partners building the campuses in India. So I'm in partnership with one of the largest edtech companies in the world, Emeritus, if you've heard
Okay.
about them. So,
Yeah, I would love to hear what you're doing there, yeah.
Ashwin Demera, who's the founder of Emeritus, and we share a common vision. And that's what we are doing with these 8 different universities. Now, why do they want to come to India? Many would believe that it's for the Indian market, it's for students. Of course, the answer is yes, but
Yeah.
you need to realize if 60% of the global workforce in the next 5 years, if it's going to sit in the global south, and you're a university sitting in the UK, you could be very quickly redundant if you don't move to the global south. As a small example, one top university partner of ours, which is very, very respected in the UK, part of the Russell Group, I was speaking to its Vice Chancellor, and the Vice Chancellor said, we see India as a base to springboard into other parts of the global south.
Wow.
A base to innovate. How do you bring cost structures of education from the existing £15,000 per student to £7,000 per student? How do you disrupt the quality? How do you experiment in a small microcosm? So India is going to be a base for innovation. And finally, it's about research.
Okay.
Research has to be relevant for the majority of the world. And if the majority of the world sits between India, China, and other parts of the global south, then you have to do research here, not sitting in Australia, UK, Europe, or the US. So that's the way they're thinking. And it is quality intent. Of course, they want to make some money in the process.
Yeah, I mean,
That's fair.
I'll just do a parallel for you. There's a lot of K through 12 schools, British schools who have entered India, and there's many opening. And you hear that they had a lot of challenges in markets like China because of regulatory changes and all of that. And some of them are even struggling to be financially viable in their own market, like home market. And these international collaborations and presence is really helping sort of, put the cash flows through for the mothership, if you may. Do you see that happening in higher ed as well?
India's too small. Like I said, if you do the numbers, it'll take years before it'll have an impact on the P&L of these universities in a significant way.
Okay.
I mean, a good top mid-sized university will be probably $1 billion of cost.
Okay.
I mean, how much will you build in India to start with? It could provide some surplus for them to do some exciting things.
Okay.
But will it change the destiny from a pure economics perspective? I don't think so.
Got it.
I think it's really about expansion. So if you really see the spectrum of universities that are exploring India, you will see the really, really biggies, as we call them. Harvard, Oxford, Stanford. They will probably be the last to come.
They'll let the market
Just like
settle, yeah.
IBM was the last to come to India,
Yeah.
building up a tech center.
Yeah.
Because they'll be waiting and watching, plus they have huge legacies. But if you are slightly below them in the spectrum, and if you're ambitious and you say, I want to become a global university, then it's rather obvious to come to India.
Come to the next frontier, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. These big names might say, okay, if I build something in another market, does that dilute access and presence?
I mean,
to
it's a huge debate, and
Yeah.
I come from the viewpoint that in 5 years' time, just like the tech industry, the outsourcing industry, everyone is going to be in India.
You have to be here, or
You have to be
you're
here.
sort
I
of.
mean,
It becomes a necessity.
I've been through these discussions
Yeah.
in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Wow.
So I told you, Everest specialized in outsourcing.
Yeah.
And those are the discussions they were having, and many of them started by saying we'll do it for cost arbitrage or for money.
Yeah.
But today, serious research is happening out of India.
Wow.
See, we have a huge advantage, which is around the fact that we have a large English-speaking population.
Yeah.
And that's a huge advantage for the world. So my dream would be that India truly becomes the Vishwaguru.
Yeah.
We have people from across the world come and learn in India. If not all the 4 years, but why not at least 2 years? It could be cheaper for them. It could be more cutting edge. And they're learning skills for the future, because the future is the global south.
Yep, absolutely. And for these universities to be in India, I understand that they can be here on their own. They don't need a local partner. So where does your work come into play in that?
I mean, India is a difficult country. Any country is a difficult country to go to. So our role is to is to help them understand India, understand how it takes. Now, I spoke about cost, for example.
Yeah.
So if you pick up your business model of X cost that you're running in the UK or in the US or in Australia, and you implant that in India, drag and drop as you call it,
Yeah.
it ain't going to succeed because India is a cost sensitive market. Plus, you're losing out on the opportunity of innovation. And that's our role to say, how can we break the box? How can we test new models? How can we help navigate the system? How can we attract students because we know how to do it?
Yeah. Interesting. And so it's really a service that you're providing to the global university partners.
We are joint venture partners.
Okay. What does that mean?
That means we have an equity stake
Okay. In the university campuses that they're
in
building
the India
here.
campus, right?
Wonderful, wonderful. And how many do you think are presently in play in India? Like 8 you're working on.
So we are working
Are there
with
other
8.
people who are bringing?
I think between Gift City and others, they may be around 15.
Okay. And so that's a significant impact that you've been able to bring.
We've been lucky. I think we were early in the path. And again, as the industry matures, there'll be different models that'll come up.
Yeah.
There'll be joint ventures. There'll be pure service entities delivering partnerships to universities.
Yeah.
Some may decide to come on their own.
And would you also, I mean, would these universities also look for local partners? Like you said, like, people who have real estate and they want to build a university, partner with university.
So it's very interesting because many people think that universities are about real estate.
Uh-huh.
If you look at the total cost structure of a university, real estate is 12 to 14% of the total cost.
Oh, wow.
So,
OPEX? You mean OPEX?
I mean, of the total, yeah, OPEX,
OPEX,
not
yeah.
CapEx, right?
Yeah.
So real estate is important, but not critical.
Yeah.
Universities are about intangibles. Universities are about knowledge. Universities are about research. Universities are about culture. Universities are about challenging the status quo.
Yeah.
And all those things don't always come by creating a Taj Mahal, for example.
Interesting.
So we're not a hotel.
Yeah. So you're saying that these universities would not necessarily want to explore, like, there might be people in the audience listening thinking, oh yeah, this is a great thing. Like, if I can, and obviously the value alignment has to be there, the purpose alignment has to be there. But do you envision people partnering with, like, private people trying to be partners with these universities in a JV of some sort?
I mean, it depends. Like I said, the next 36 months will unfold what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And if I am a top university, I am looking for a very credible partner.
Because you're seeing that with K through 12 quite a bit, right? Where, these foreign universities, schools have come and they've partnered with a
But
local
those are more
partner.
franchisee type of models, Ankur.
Okay.
They're not, and the regulatory oversight on them is limited. But think about the risk a university has. You're a top university, you're part of the Russell Group, or you're a group of 8, or you're an Ivy League,
Yeah.
and you set up a campus here. Imagine if you fail.
Yeah.
They
Huge
will mud on your
reputational,
face.
yeah.
Huge reputational risk. Unlike a school which is still more contained.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about schools, for example, and probably I'm not in the school system, but I can probably count 5 global schools in my hand, on my fingers, right? Schools are very regional or very, they operate in micro markets relatively.
Yep.
While universities are more global in nature. I mean, you can count 30 universities the moment you start doing it. Am I right?
Yeah.
But tell me 30 schools.
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
So schools are smaller, less at risk. They don't have the regulatory overhang of a university. So their ability to enter and exit are higher, in my opinion.
Did it ever occur to you or a thought came to your mind, like, would you want to start a school as well in the area?
Sometimes, all sorts of ideas come, Ankur, but we can only solve the problem that there's so many problems in India.
Yeah.
Others have also to try to solve problems. Schooling is a big issue.
Yes.
But a lot of my time goes into, or most of my time goes into higher ed.
Yeah.
I think if I can
That's
do
your
justice to this,
USP.
I mean, not just that, but if I can do justice to it, that itself is a big
So
task.
the reason I ask this is because, what I've observed is that everyone's focused on outcomes in one way or the other. a school feels that if they place their child into the right university, their outcome is achieved. For them, that's the marker,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
A university in general feels that if they've placed campus placements to a good job, or for their students, they feel like they've done their job, if you may.
Those are
Where do
very
you find
tactical
yourself?
things. I think creating good human beings, for me, creating good Indians, if we can contribute towards society. And I'll just give you an example of Shoolini, for example. I was doing some numbers. These are based on research done by the World Bank and Oxford. And I was asking myself the impact Shoolini has on the ecosystem.
Okay.
Now, you've been here, and I know things are still very dusty outside our campus. But when we started 15 years ago, this was a jungle. There was nothing there.
Yeah.
We had to entice our workers with meat and liquor to get them to work here. There was nothing here, literally
Wow.
nothing here. There's a Pagdandi that came into the campus. Today, land prices in and around Shoolini are higher than Solan town.
Wow.
The size of the upcoming market over here, done by private players, is larger than the biggest suburb of Solan today. And more importantly, in terms of just GDP impact, we contribute to anywhere between 12 to 15% of Solan town's GDP.
Wow.
And I'm not joking. If you go to ChatGPT and if you type what is Solan known for, you will see they will say Solan is known for Shoolini University and other universities.
Yeah.
So we've helped contribute towards the economic ecosystem of the town, apart from the great research we did, apart from creating a quality university, and apart from creating opportunities for students across the country.
So, what outcome matters to you, and how do you measure it?
So, outcome that matters to me would be how many of my students ultimately ended up over a period of time either in quality jobs or creating enterprises or contributing towards the public good. It could be becoming a politician. I'll give a small example. I bumped into someone who was the president of ABVP in Uttarakhand.
Okay.
And he came to me and said, "Sir, you may not remember, but I'm your student." Now that's impact.
That is powerful. Yes.
Now that's not a classical job.
Yeah.
And if such people are honest and they're contributing to society, we've done our job.
Yeah.
I think every success that we create, we are creating aspirations and a dream for probably 100 to 200 people who will emulate these kids. So to me, creating star successes is very critical so that they then become role models for kids around them or families around them.
Yeah. If, that just makes me, the takeaway from our conversation, if someone's heard this conversation in entirety and they're thinking like, oh, this changes a lot how I look at my own institute, whether it's a school or a college. What would you want them to walk away with from your message?
I think three things over here, Ankur. The first is, and I started by saying, do it for a purpose. This is a unique time in India, in the history of India, where economic value and purpose converge. So you can live with creating economic value, but still have a purpose. That's a very unique time in the history of the country.
Yep.
So don't lose sight of the purpose. Second, take bold steps. This could be in the form of vertical integration. You're a school, you could think about a university. A university could go into school. A university could go into skilling. You could go into online. As an example, we are building an online university as we speak.
Oh, wow.
Apart from the work we're doing with foreign universities, think about expansion. Think about bringing best practices into your campus. So be bold, I would say. And I think the last thing is just be brutally honest. Gone are the days where left pocket, right pocket creates value. I think honesty, integrity, and living by your values creates tremendous amount of economic value. So these would be the three things. And just look at your shoes and just do it. I mean, that's the logo of Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
So wear good shoes.
Nicely said. As education leaders, obviously it's a huge responsibility, and sometimes people don't realize that because, like you said, education creates impact, positive or negative. What you create in an environment will strive, grow, and sort of expand. What If you were to say to education leaders that something that they should stop doing immediately, what would that be?
I think stop following the status quo. Don't think outside the box. Break the box. We have a tremendous challenge in the country. In a very short period of time, we have to train or retrain more than 100 crore people. It's
Yeah.
not an easy task. Each one of us will be contributing tremendously to the nation. That's one. Secondly, if you think about dreams or aspirations, I believe that two industries which are yet to be disrupted globally. One is religion, and I won't speak about that. It's too sensitive a topic. But the second is higher education. We've got universities that are thousands of years old. Oxford is 1,000+ years old, as an example. Bologna. University of Aberdeen, which is coming to India, was established in 1495,
Wow.
before the first Battle of Panipat, before Babur came to India. So these are old institutions, but many of them may be running their shop in a way that they used to do it probably 200 years back. So challenge the status quo. This industry will disrupt, and I think it's an opportunity for us to be a leading global institution. So my dream is not about just building a great Shoolini. I want to challenge my team to say, can we become one of the top 10 universities of the world? And I think we can. And my answer is very simple, and my question is very simple to the people around. When I was graduating out of IIT, the best job was IBM Labs. Who cares about IBM Labs today?
Yeah.
You want to be in Google, but not even Google today. You want to be in OpenAI.
Yeah.
So if it can happen in the tech industry, if it can happen in every industry around us, why do we believe we cannot create a cutting edge world leader out of India?
But does those validations come from ranking or something deeper than that?
I think ranking, of course, but it's also about the broader prestige of an entity. It's the broader belief that a great institution sits here. And there are examples happening in India already. There's ISB, there's Ashoka, possibly Shoolini, some others, Flame. So we're seeing sparks of excellence happening in the country.
And you talked about these 1,000+ year old universities, right? What is one thing that you feel that they've done right to be relevant for such a long time?
Oh, I think we do things very frugally in India. I'll give a small example. My average cost per student sits between $1.5 to 2 lakhs. That's like $2,000 in today's currency. It's 10 to 15% of the cost of a global university. And I think we understand frugality, we understand efficiency. And I think that's something we've done very right.
That's going to help us stay relevant? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
How's that?
Like we said, everyone can't afford a 10 lakh education. Plus, global universities who are sitting at 30,000, 40,000 per student cost structures per year will have to start thinking about 3,000, 5,000 for two reasons. One is students will be asking this question: if I can have an online degree at a different price point, why do I need to?
Why
go
do I
campus?
need to be at a physical campus?
But I spoke about the fact that 60% of workforce in the world will be in the global south, and they cannot afford a $40,000 degree. But you have to be relevant to them. You have to bring your cost structures down.
But relevance, I can understand cost being one aspect of it, but I feel culture has got to be a strong part of it.
Absolutely. So great institutions are not built on money.
Yeah.
And there are enough examples in our own country. I think they're built around culture, they're built around values, and they're built around dreams.
And how do you build a culture like what you've been able to build here?
It takes a lot of time and effort. I've lost my hair.
Besides that, that's something people can
I
use.
think trust your people. The best talent sits just next to you. Don't go out and get enamored by hiring talent from overseas. Okay, a few here and there is fine, but there's a great talent sitting next to you. Saying that there's no good talent in Himachal, I think we're doing injustice to the people, because intelligence has to follow a normal distribution.
Yeah.
So cherry pick talent around you, invest in them, I would say. be genuine to your staff, be honest, truthful, but also invest in teams. I think what's also critical is have universities, I think, are like families. So build a culture of camaraderie, of a family. People will give their lives to you if they feel that they're being respected.
Yeah, and do you find yourself in situations where you felt like when you brought someone on board, you know, there was a lot of aspirations. Obviously, in this at the onset of a relationship, everyone feels excited about it, but at some point along the journey, you feel like, you know what, I was really hoping I'm trying to give the training, I'm trying to put in the time, I'm trying to give the trust, but maybe this is not working out. Like, how do you handle that kind of
So,
situation?
first of all, my biggest successes at Shoolini, when we look at talent, are people that we cherry picked from in and around us. So, they need not have come from the usual suspects, IITs or IIMs
Okay.
or the top global universities. There are we've had huge successes with talent who were from the local community but had trained themselves overseas,
Yeah.
let's say a postdoc,
Yeah.
and they wanted to come back.
Yeah.
So that's it. We don't fire people, but we're also very demanding.
Yeah.
I think people understand this smart enough. And again, not to sound immodest, but today our brand is solid enough that anyone who's been at Shoolini gets a high quality job. Pretty much any University of India picks them up.
That's amazing. Final advice to our education community: if one thing that they have to keep in mind to be relevant for the next 20 years, what would you suggest?
Because we're speaking about higher education, I think if there's one learning I have is that is regulation. We are a regulated industry. Don't do anything that is outside of regulation.
Just-
Some point of time, the regulator will come and wrap your knuckles, and you wouldn't know where to see. So please realize banking, education, and a bunch of other things are regulated. Respect regulation, but do things that support regulation, and there's enough opportunity in the country.
And outside of education, there is an industry, if you may, which supports education in various service offerings to education. If I'm a young college graduate thinking I want to create an impact in education, I don't have a way of launching my own school or university. How do you think they can think about contributing as an entrepreneur to the ecosystem?
I mean, the opportunities are humongous. So I would say if there's one learning I like to give them is build scale. So scale with frugality is something I'll say. Otherwise, you won't be relevant, right?
So that's a mindset advice. I get that. Any specific nuance you might have, like, okay, this area I wish the industry spent more on developing, which will be a useful product or services for the university ecosystem.
I'll give a small example, right? I'm trying to build a cutting edge classroom with video conferencing facility. I have not found anyone who can bring that together for me. So I'm going to actually pick your brains because you've got this lovely setting over here.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anyone out there,
Wow.
right? Just one simple example. There is no standardized whiteboard, for example, that I can go and say, okay, here's a high quality whiteboard. I
It's the
can close my
benchmark for
eyes.
universities, so to speak.
So these are basic things, but then you can get into tech, you can go into things like AI training, you can help universities or institutions around skilling talent. There's a tech need which is providing technology or base technology to universities. One area that none of us speak about is cybersecurity. Imagine we've all moved to SaaS-based products,
Yeah.
many of us, but our degrees
Data
are
is
like
going
cash if
out.
you think about it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think the regulator has thought about cybersecurity the way it should. Probably if someone is listening from the regulatory side, they'll get it. But imagine if someone taps into my systems. Well, we spend a lot of effort and time on cybersecurity,
Yeah.
but many others may not. But if they tap into the system and print 20,000 degrees, right?
Yeah.
Imagine. It's like printing money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's crazy.
That's so. Can you provide those type of services? So I think, like I said, just like setting up a university, there is so much to be done. There is so much to be done in services around school education, higher education, or skilling.
And the numbers that you shared at the earlier in the conversation just creates that, okay, the market is so big that anyone listening could really find a great area where you can build value and create an impact at the same time.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for all these insights, Atul. I think I've learned myself quite a bit today. And I want to thank you for the work that you're doing. I strongly believe my purpose is to bring these conversations out to the larger ecosystem, and certainly the work our educators are doing in nation building is something commendable, and a lot of gratitude for that.
Thank you, Ankur. I think my last message to all my young friends out there who may be professionals working in different parts of the world, I'll say that there's a tremendous opportunity. Many of you are come from middle class families. Many of you grew up in tier 2, tier 3 towns. Go back to your hometown.
Amazing.
Do something exciting there related to education. Trust me, from my experience, I can tell you, you'll never be happier in your life.
I resonate that 100%. I lived 10 years in the US, came back to my hometown to build my business. And I'm very happy doing what I'm doing, being close to the family, and creating an impact in my environment. So,
and you can make some money along the way too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Ankur.
Thank you, Atul.
I wish everyone lots of good luck. Hopefully, if there's even one enterprise that comes out of this discussion, I'll be happy to mentor it. Why don't I offer that?
Oh, awesome.
Thank you.
Alrighty. What stays with me from this conversation isn't ranking or a milestone. It's the discipline of long-term thinking. Building institution isn't about applause. It's about patience, systems, and responsibility. For leaders listening today, the world is changing whether we like it or not. The real choice is, do we defend old assumptions or do we redesign with intent? This is your host Ankur Gupta, signing out. I will see you in the next episode. Till then, keep learning and keep inspiring.